Hello football fans and welcome back to another video where I talk about the NFL. And let me just say that I hate reading articles. Well, NFL articles this time of year. Now, my main source of where I get articles to talk about in videos for this channel is NFL.com. Now, the top articles on NFL.com go as follows. Clowney Gould not attending minicamps on tag. Panthers giddy over Cam's new throwing motion. No days off. Patriots cancel final week of OTAs. Jaguars defensive end Ngakoue to skip mandatory minicamp. Ranking every team based on their franchise QBs. Eagles safety Jenkins reports to mandatory minicamp. Landon Collins glad he can finally tackle Saquon, as in Saquon Barkley. And then Gary Kubiak says first rounder Bradbury to be Viking center. And then Adam Rank says it's time to buy into the Cleveland Browns. Now, in my opinion, none of those videos are interesting for me to talk about at length. My responses to those top one is okay. Whatever. Cam's new throwing motion. I just hope he can succeed. Patriots cancel final week of OTAs. Who cares? Player skips mandatory minicamp. I just wonder how much he'll get fined. Ranking every team based on their franchise QBs. That's very subjective. But not... Well, that is interesting, but not worth making a video over. Eagle safety Jenkins reports to mandatory minicamp. Okay. I really don't care. Landon Collins glad he can finally tackle Saquon. Okay. First rounder Bradbury to be Viking center. We all saw that coming. And then it's time to buy into the Cleveland Browns. I don't even want to touch that one. I think it was time to buy into them when they were 0-16 because the only way to go was to go up. But anyway, so when that typically happens, I make a legacy video. Now what that is that I choose a player that I want to look at, or potentially group of players, as you might see later on. But today I have decided to cover Reggie White as a legacy video. Now, I've done legacy videos such as Barry Sanders and Dan Marino and Kevin White. Or not Kevin White. It's a wide receiver that sucks. Kevin Green. Wrong color. Kevin Orange and Kevin Purple and Kevin Red and Kevin Blue at some point will be covered. And also, don't forget about Kevin Pink, too. That might be the best out of all of them. Now, Reggie White played in the NFL from 1985 through 2000. Now, he was part of a group of players that were in the USFL in 1984 and 5 before that league folded. That league featured Steve Young, Jim Kelly, and a couple of great running backs. I don't remember. It either featured Thurman Thomas. I think it featured Thurman Thomas too. But there were some talented players in the USFL, and White was one of them. So, from 1985 through 1992, he played with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then from 1993 through 98, he played for the Green Bay Packers, and then in 99 he was retired, and then in 2000 he played for the Carolina Panthers. Do I consider him a Panther, me being a Panthers fan? No, not at all. The 1 year after he retired, no. I kind of don't count that. So in the thumbnail, that's why you don't see Reggie White in a Panthers uniform. You only see him in an Eagles uniform and a Packers uniform. That's why. But let's go over some of what he did. Now, he led one of the greatest defensive ends in NFL history. Led the NFL in sacks in 87 and 88. That being 1987 and 1988. And then he went to the Pro Bowl 13 times from 1986 through 1998. So he was productive even in his 30s. He turned 30 just before the end of the 91 season, and he was still dominant even in the 90s. So it's incredible to me to think that a defensive end played as well as he did into his 30s and beyond. He was in his, well, at the start of the 98 season, he was 36, and by the end of it, he was 37, so in his age 36, 37 season, he still went to a Pro Bowl that year. And then, of course, he had the one Super Bowl with the Packers. A Super Bowl in which he sacked Drew Bledsoe 3 times, I believe. And there's this moment in NFL history that when you see Reggie White highlights or stuff that, or just Reggie White stuff in general, one of the clips that you'll see is him throwing the New England Patriots right tackle. Just clubbed him. And just sacking Drew Bledsoe at near the end of the game there in Super Bowl 36. And then in 1991 with the Eagles, he was part of one of the greatest defenses of all time. A defense that went number 1 in all categories. Number 1 in points allowed, rush yards, pass yards, you name it. 91 Eagles were at the top that year. A defense that was very good. And I know they didn't make the playoffs, but that's because Randall Cunningham got hurt for the year in the first game. That could have been the Eagles' first Super Bowl team if it weren't for that injury. Now, to go over the list of achievements again. He was a 10-time first-team All-Pro from 86 through 93, so all those years. and then in 1995 and 1998. So you have, in your age 36, 37 season, you have a defensive end making first team All-Pro. That is that's just exceptional. That is truly, 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 truly exceptional. That's just unreal. And then in 1994, 1996, and 1997, the years in which he was not an All-Pro, or a first-team All-Pro, he was a second-team All-Pro. And then he was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 1987 and 1998. So you have a guy in his age 36, 37 season that might have played his best season in the NFL. Again, that's just unheard of. And then he was just the NFC Defensive Player of the Year 3 times in 87, 91, and then 95. It's amazing to me to think that he was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 98, and yet he wasn't the NFC Defensive Player of the Year, despite being in that conference. That's a head scratcher. I wonder who won that. I have no idea. And then, just as I said, he was the NFL sacks leader in 1987 and 88. So, and then he's in the Hall of Fame for both the Packers and the Eagles, and rightfully so. And I'm not sure if he's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame. And both teams did retire his number. And then last few things I want to go over is he was on the NFL 75th anniversary all-time team. You know, I wonder who's going to be on the NFL 100th anniversary all-time team. I wonder when they're going to put that out, because this year's going to be their 100th year. I can imagine Tom Brady would be the quarterback. I can kind of imagine who would be on that team, but I wonder. Anyway, and then he made it to the NFL's all-decade team in 1990 and 1980. So, there's that. But Reggie White and Brett Favre helped turn around football in Green Bay in the early 90s. So he has that too. And before I end this off, I just want to say that rest in peace, Reggie White. I hope you're sleeping well, and that you are a pastor in heaven. I just hope you are, buddy. And yeah, I think that will do it for this legacy video. And see us, guys, that will do it for this James Talks About the NFL. And until the next video where I talk about the NFL, I will see you all later. Goodbye, guys. Thank you all for watching, and go Panthers.